Advocates and some local officials are trying to help thousands of young immigrants in danger of losing their legal status. Entering the United States as children, they're protected by a status created under President Obama, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA. President Trump recently decided to rescind the program in 6 months unless Congress approves a replacement. To tell us about the local impact is our guest, the executive director of the Mass Immigrant and Refugee Advocacy, or MIRA coalition, Eva Millona. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Chris.
First of all, talk about the dreamers themselves and how this is hitting them.
Well, as you just stated, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival was a program created by President Obama in 2012 to provide a temporary solution for dreamers, youth who had been here for a very long time and brought by their parents and had no say whatsoever in the decision that their parents made to bring them here. And it really worked, and it helped 800,000 youth across the country, including 8,000 here in our Commonwealth of Massachusetts, to come forward to become authorized to work, part of the workforce, pay taxes, and play a major role in our economy and in our society. And the administration coming up with this announcement, very disruptive and cruel, impacts 800,000 people across the country who are part of the workforce. So it will mean losses, for employers who they're working for, and losses in taxes that they pay. And, these are youth and people who are working hard and played by the book, and now they are facing devastation because their status could be taken away. And that means they would lose their jobs, their health insurance. Many of them are in school. And it is just unnecessary and a really cruel thing to do. However, MIRA and our partners across the state and across the country are working very hard to push the emergency steps to reach out to as many as possible, or all of them. And in Massachusetts, if we look at nationwide 800,000, and with the deadline coming up for renewal October 5th of this year, it's going to be impossible to reach out to everybody and for USCIS to process those applications. So the first step is to reach out to all of them. And if you look at the statistics from the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service nationwide, the impact would be 154,000 who will be due for renewal between September 5th and the October deadline, but also in our state up to between 1,500 and 2,000 people. So what we are doing with MIRA, our partners across the state and our members, is to reach out to all individuals who are due for renewal to make sure that they have all the resources that they need to proceed, and then also engaged in an advocacy campaign to push the deadline at least till January, but most importantly to really fight hard to push Congress to pass the DREAM Act that would, legislatively fix the status of these students. And this was something that we all along wanted, a legislative fix, but just setting a deadline like this, it's just arbitrary, and there was no legal action required for the administration to do so, just disrupting lives of youth. It's just, devastating.
Talk about that deadline problem, because part of the challenge here is to make sure that everybody who has to register knows about it. But once they know about it, what's required as far as getting documents and things like that?
But first of all, the deadline, it's impractical, and it's not going to work. CIS, I don't think they have a plan to reach to each and every person who has DACA to notify them. Some people do know, some people don't know. So number one, there is no plan to reach out to each and every one of the DACA beneficiaries and make sure that they know that they have a deadline. Number two, this arbitrary line, people are not prepared or have enough money to pay the fee for the application. And number three, organizations like MIRA, other legal services, other members who are eager to support them to make sure they have the information, we can have the resources to do the pro bono clinic to help them to renew their applications. We don't have the resources and the capacity to do this in a very short period of time. So as we are doing our advocacy with Congress to pass to push for the passage of the DREAM Act, as we are working at the state level to push for legislation and policies that will help dreamers, we are also working hard to reach out to those in Massachusetts and make sure that they have the resources that they need. MIRA is doing 2 clinics in next week, one on the 22nd and one on the 23rd at the ABCD to help dreamers, and also our members and partners across the state are doing also an extended work and outreach, and I will invite the viewers to check MIRA's website, www.miracoalition.com/DACA, and find the clinics and find all the resources that they need to help dreamers and to help with this situation. We're also, as MIRA, is part of a national network of the National Partnership for New Americans, which is the umbrella organization of 37 state coalitions across the country, wrote a letter to Acting Secretary Duke of Homeland Security, and we're asking for a meeting with the acting secretary, and we would love an opportunity to really engage in a policy dialogue to push the deadline, and also have CIS take all the measures to reach out to all dreamers, and also provide an opportunity for organizations who would like to work with them to really provide that opportunity for information to be spread and to be sent, and individuals can be helped if the administration is really serious about the fact that they want a legislative fix. They at least have to engage in this dialogue and give them the opportunity to do what they need to do, and not put out artificial deadlines.
This is BNN News, and we're talking with Eva Millona from the MIRA Coalition. Eva, I want to talk about the rationale for rescinding that came from the Trump administration. He didn't so much demonize the dreamers, but his Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, said, they're an economic threat. They got skills, they're going to compete for jobs and take them away from the rest of us.
I mean, we do know that this is political pandering, and it's, the president has gone back and forth about how he thinks about the whole the DREAM Act, but also about dreamers, and he had said that he loves them, and he will handle this, with care. And then in the meantime, we see, the administration, the Attorney General announcing the end of DACA as it is, and it's just a poison pill. I mean, we hope and we appreciate maybe the desire to have a legislative fix. We wanted a legislative fix all along, but the Congress failed, and that's why President Obama came up with a temporary solution. The evidence shows that, Congress has failed many times, and we don't know how this deadline will be met by, passage of the legislation. And, we have to push hard. There is a lot of movement and momentum at the federal level in Congress. Both Senator Schumer and Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi are, pushing hard and talking about getting the votes and bringing the bill. Also, the Hispanic Caucus announced that they are also pushing for announce a discharge petition, and are doing all they can to push for a vote. But it's it's a matter of.
Yeah, finally, talk about what you must be referring to when you call this a cruel decision, because we're talking about people who came here as young people, and they're so young that I guess if you sent them back to their native countries, what would that be like?
I mean, it's really devastating, and it's heartbreaking for us. And we have worked with them, we have seen them. We have actually a couple of interns with us. One of them, it's a dreamer. Well, 2 of them. And we had dreamers in the past who volunteered and who did amazing community work. And, in one instance, one is a wonderful woman who came here at the age of 6. Her parents brought her here. She had no idea that she didn't have status, and she found out when she was applying for college. She went to Harvard. She graduated with honors. She got married to a U.S. citizen, and she is not able to adjust status. And I mean, what fault does she have? A 6-year-old, were brought in this country, and she did all that she could to succeed and be part of the society. And now she is in limbo and told that her protection is ending, and she could be deported. Or another one who came at the age of 7, and one of the parents passed away, and he did all that he could. And now he's facing, possible deportation if Congress doesn't end, although the president has said he will revisit it again. And I think just playing with the lives of many youth, this is not who we are, and we know much better.
Finally, we should remind our viewers, if people want some more information, especially about the upcoming workshops, you've got the website that they can go to?
The website, miracoalition.org. DACA, there is information and resources available for dreamers, but also for others who would like to help and be part of our clinics, be part of the education and outreach, and helping to get resources so they have what they need, to proceed with the renewal.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Eva Millona from the MIRA Coalition. In a moment, timely advice for suicide prevention.